Welcome back. You're tuned into Bazaar Morning Call. Well, we've laid out all the stocks that need to track, but let's get some more fundamental analysis going. Prakash Diwan, market expert, who joins us on the show. Hi, Prakash. Good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Plenty of sporting action as well. And as we speak, the Copa America as well is on. So that final, Argentina taking on Colombia. Let's see what's the outcome. As of now, it's pretty much even Steven at 0 apiece. But let's talk about stocks. The tech space had a beautiful run in Friday's trading session. HCL Tech participated as well, and the numbers looked a little bit better than what the street was working with. What do you do with the stock right now? Some part of that good news is in the price, but view on HCL Tech and preference in the tech space.
Good morning, Nigel. Thanks for the warm welcome. Yeah, of course, the UFA has kept us awake till quite late, but we're all set for the day. And I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting day and a week ahead, as Sonia said rightly at the beginning of the show. For HCL Tech, very clearly, all the good news, all the move in the stock was actually thanks to the TCS numbers. The moment TCS flagged off that turnaround, the whole this thing of semblance of some sort of green shoots coming back, all these stocks rallied, and HCL Tech did most of it on Friday itself before the numbers. Now the numbers come through, and you realize that it's all absolutely as the management has indicated earlier, whether it's margins, whether it's revenue growth. There's nothing which is out of place in that sense, even on the upside. Of course, if you look at the profit numbers, it's that JV with the State Street, they say exit, that probably brought in that one-off thing. But from here on, I think HCL Tech, given its past track record, will continue to keep finding newer ways to grow and, of course, make it profitable. Whereas the likes of TCS and Infosys will probably have a very steady state growth as compared to HCL Tech. So to answer our second question, what are the top picks? I would still go with an Infosys and Wipro in this space because, of course, the numbers are still awaited. But the point is that if there is a turnaround in order booking, which is finally happening in some sort of softer way than anticipated, it will benefit the ones which are more resilient. So given the fact that Wipro has also moved ahead, Infosys probably stands a better chance at some sort of a reset the way TCS did. But HCL Tech is something which I won't be very excited about. Today, you probably see some sentimental green, but then people will set their eyes on the newer names or the other names which are anticipated in this week's numbers. So good numbers, but won't get too excited about it as yet.
Okay, won't get too excited about it. Got that. What about Reliance? Comes out with numbers on Friday, and this time around, the entire telecom basket is going to be definitely in focus because of the tariff hike, etc. But ahead of that, would you buy Reliance?
Good morning, Sonia. So Reliance is something which it's very endearing to understand the business finally getting into a stage where it's not just firing on all cylinders, but it's kind of revving up for the next level. Whether it's retail, whether it's telecom, as you rightly said, whether it's the O2C business, which was, let's say the last quarter or two has been a bit soft, hasn't been really talked about much. But my sense is that given the dominant position that it is now having on a global scale and not just the domestic markets, Reliance will see some sort of a re-rating. And then you finally are getting, with every quarterly numbers, you're getting close to the new energy business getting to take off. And if that's the state, so you've already seen a pushback of the aircraft, and now it's kind of come on the runway. Sometime it's going to announce that takeoff. And when that happens, Reliance will kind of give you that bump up, which is a re-rating, which is from the fourth business vertical. So my sense is at this level, you don't have much to lose. If there are positive triggers in terms of announcement closer to the AGM as well, you'll probably benefit. So if the numbers are okay, I think the market will see some follow-through buying in spite of this run-up that we've seen in the last month or so. But I would definitely recommend that to be a long-term hold in the portfolio. If people don't have it yet, it's still not too late. You could still buy into it with at least a 2-3 year horizon from here on.
Prakash, hi, morning. There's so much rotation which happens, right? People rotate it into IT. I was saying in the morning that IT is, the big rally, minor upgrade, EPS upgrades, but big stock rallies. Maybe it's, but Infosys is on Thursday. Maybe, that will, and if there is a big surprise there, then, the rally will look a little justified, because to me, it seems a little maybe overdone, but stocks are under-owned, etc. There are other technical factors at play. But just a quick word on what other sectors, Prakash, will shine this week that you think will be in focus, stocks or sectors, pockets? Yeah.
Good morning, Prashant. No, so that's a very interesting point. While numbers will be center stage on a day-to-day basis, from a pre-budget positioning, I think the market's very clearly seeking newer areas that also offer you some sort of a valuation comfort. And the first sector that I notice here is shipping. If you look at the activity, and we spoke about this about a month back when I was talking about how the anticipated push on the maritime sector by the government is going to make such a big difference. So whether it's port operators, whether it's companies that facilitate that, whether it's shipbuilding companies, shipping lines, you name it, and this entire value chain is something which, look at a slumbering name like GE Shipping in the last 1 month. See what response you see, and the shipbuilders, which is Cochin and JRSC and Mazagon, they have been predominantly focused on defense contracts, but there's lots that can happen on the commercial side as well, and they will of course get a piece of that pie. But my sense is shipping is one sector that you could deep dive and figure out a lot of things that are happening, whether it's container freight stations, logistics operators around the shipping ports. So there's quite a bit happening. The second sector, Prashant, again, this is in anticipation that the government will come up with something to, buttress the earnings potential of the farm sector, the agri sector. You will probably see a comeback, and the monsoon has been fairly okay in spite of the late start or a little bit of a stop and go kind of a start. My sense is the likes of Escorts and all of those, if you look at stocks which haven't done well, participated as yet, and have the right potential to do it. So with Kubota coming in, I think it's a full cycle that they've gone through in terms of product innovation. And that entire reset on the product mix, the kind of distribution strength that they've built over the last year or so, I can see very clearly those things kind of moving in a very significant trajectory. So you will have some re-rating from some of these names. But of course, then you have your regular stuff in terms of textiles and all of that. But then those are conjectures. I haven't seen any specific push from any of these. So maybe the railways continue to benefit. Maybe the power sector continues to benefit. So you will start seeing the budgetary anticipation build up in this week, probably post Wednesday. Wednesday is the day off, but Thursday, Friday would probably be very key for the pre-budget kind of a position.
Prakash, we have spoken about this in the past. Gateway Distriparks actually has underperformed Concord just in the last few months. But if you look at it on a longer term, if you look at it, say, on the 18-month horizon, actually Gateway had seen some bit of a re-rating, and there is a valuation cushion as well out there. Your take on it?
Absolutely. I think, the valuation comfort that you have when you buy Gateway Distriparks, similar business, of course, very, very small scale as compared to Concord. But it gives you the comfort that this company has all the right ingredients to kind of be able to scale up. They've been a bit probably, distracted with this acquisition and trying to normalize something which was another area of logistics for them as compared to what their core competence lies in. But, if I read between the lines, it's very clear that they are looking at monetizing some of the non-core assets in their parent business to make sure that, the new business is supported with more capital allocation and accelerated growth. So if that were to happen, I think you'll probably see it play catch-up. Concord has risen for reasons which are not just operational, but it's more of the premium that it attracts, the scarcity premium that it attracts Nigel. So I think it's primarily because of that, but I would still believe Gateway Distriparks offers far better comfort on valuation, and you could probably still see some upsides if the numbers start kind of scaling up as anticipated, which they could. It's not something which is a big ask according to me. So quite positively disposed to this thing.
Prakash, the big stock to watch this week is going to be Reliance, coming out with numbers on Friday. Of course, we spoke about that earlier as well. But let's talk about the other telecom player, right? Bharti Airtel, which has been doing very well up until now. Do you think that the risk reward is still favorable for some of these telecom names?
So honestly, the Bharti stock has already done so well in anticipation of this, price, this tariff hike that finally is coming. So I don't think there's much that you would see. You will only see reportage of ARPUs kind of improving at some point in time by September, and that's about it. Till there's some sort of a build up on the next round of tariff hike. And importantly, the rollout plans that Bharti has been keeping in the wings of sorts is probably going to start deciding where all they'll grow. So, you have some of the circles where they're not yet very, intensely present. They could probably rectify those situations. But that's all operational stuff in this one. Yeah, there's nothing much on the stock that you have. And, Reliance, the geo impact is something which you'll probably not necessarily see on these numbers, but it's going to be the subsequent quarter. So we'll have to wait for that. But the build up to that is very clearly going to be very positive for Reliance for sure.
Okay, all right, Prakash, just one quick word on Avenue Supermarts. The numbers Mangalam told us a little bit better than what we're working with. But even if you look on FY27 numbers, it's still trading at around 70 times. So valuations are not in favor. Your view on the stock?
I agree. So, the margins are very impressive for sure, Nigel. And what I think they're doing is from a mass market, a price sensitive, price conscious segment, they're trying to get some better experiences. You can see some of the formats trying to tweak in larger cities. But Avenue Supermart will always find this very challenging now that they've clocked some decent margins to maintain these margins. So if, let's say, these margins don't sustain in the next few quarters, the street is going to start questioning that. And that's precisely the reason why high valuations are always make the stock very vulnerable. And then technically, whether this gets into F&O and all, there's lots that's happening. So stay away. There's better things in retail as well that are popping up. But yes, if you hold it, you can enjoy the ride, continue enjoying the ride, but not buying anything afresh.
No, I was wondering, Prakash, I don't know if you have any thoughts of Nigel and Sonia, all these Insta delivery apps, right? Blinkit and Instamart, etc. Won't they impact players like DMart? Because, I mean, you're basically ordering on the fly. Whenever you need something, you order. Whereas I'm assuming that the person who goes to DMart kind of sort of, shops for the entire month, groceries or whatever. But if you do it through the course of the as you need it, I mean, there is, that big kind of, I don't know if DMart has an Insta service, but it's a question to ponder.
I'm glad you brought that out because I just had an incident recently where I needed some medical, not medicines, but medical stuff like, Band-Aids and all of that. And I was so surprised that I got it on Blinkit in less than 10 minutes at 11:30 in the night. So that's the kind of service that some of these quick commerce guys are providing, not just with food and with accessories and all of that, but even with critical things like medical devices and equipment,
and
right?
non-critical things also. I've recently found out 2 days back that you can order a printout on Blinkit.
Really?
You can give a printout, they'll deliver the...
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just...
It's remarkable.